Coach, appreciate you doing this. I want to start with when you got the Purdue job. What's the thing when you got to campus you said, I want to implement this right away?
Man, when the timing of my hire was awkward because it was like the middle of December.
Yeah.
And so it was trying to finish up a class right away. You know what I mean? But definitely wanted to establish, what our pillars were or are, and that's competitive, tough, discipline. So that the quicker we could get that message across, the better.
You kept your entire staff together from year 1 to 2 at Purdue. Pretty rare in college football, right? A huge accomplishment.
We didn't win enough games.
Depending on how you look at it. So how important do you think that'll be from just a continuity standpoint heading into year 2?
I think it's very important. Anytime you in football, both as players and coaches, when you go from year 1 to year 2, you genuinely see a big jump in execution and your comfort level. So to have that type of continuity, not only for myself and the staff, but also for the guys in the locker room, after they had already went through a transition, I think hopefully it will pay dividends this fall.
How do you balance your time with being a head coach, but also wanting to have the Ryan Walters level of defense that you're known for? Because I'm sure you obviously are spending time with both.
Yeah, that was the challenge a year ago, is to figure out how to best utilize my time to serve the university.
Yeah.
And I feel like sort of that midway point of the season kind of found that balance. Year 1, you're also worried about how things are operating administratively around your program. And now that those areas are functioning the way I envision them to function, it's easier to dive back into the X's and O's, and I'm looking forward to really just focusing on football this season.
Hudson Card returns as your quarterback and finished the season strong. Last 2 games threw 6 touchdowns and no picks. What's the biggest area for improvement you want to see from him in 2024?
Yeah, one, just his health. A lot of people don't notice, but he only missed 1 game, but he was hurt for the majority of the season. So he's really taken an onus on how his body looks, how it feels, and he's put on some really good weight. But just like we was talking about earlier with year 1 and year 2, last year was Hudson's first year as a starting quarterback at the collegiate level and in a brand new system. So you got year 2, year 1 under your belt, both as a playing experience and from a system standpoint. So hopefully we see that kind of growth that you normally do in football.
Obviously a lot of change in college football right now. Also an interesting time to be a first-time head coach, right? No one has a manual for how to handle NIL and the portal and everything. How has the portal and NIL and all that goes into it impacted your strategy and how you build your program?
Yeah, I mean, we've definitely utilized the rules and how they lay out. I think the benefit of being hired when I was hired is I don't have anything else to compare it to, so I don't know how harder or how easier it is. And so, the rules as they lay out have benefited us going into this season. So I'm excited to play this fall.
Last question for you, Coach. Day 1 training camp, when you're meeting with your team, what's the message or the goal that you're setting for your program?
Really, you're setting the standards and expectations of fall camp and how we're going to operate, and the detail with which we're going to pay attention and the urgency with which we move. Those are the goals and expectations that you're setting going into week 1 or into fall camp number 1, and then as days goes, you kind of lay out the next phases of teaching ball and getting prepared for the season.
Awesome. Appreciate it, Coach. Go out this year.
You, man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.